Ron Luginbill bought his first ukulele during a trip to Hawaii in 2013.
And when I came home, I started to play and learned and got frustrated and did a bunch of things and finally ended up, figuring out how I wanted to do it.
Now a retired school teacher, Ron had been playing guitar for nearly his whole life. The ukulele, although similar in many ways, was new, but pretty soon he was hooked on playing and collecting.
Oh, it was a few years ago on the Shop Goodwill auction site. There was a gourd ukulele, and so I bid on it and won it. When it arrived, I looked at it and I'm thinking, this isn't very good. I don't think it's playable. But I looked at it and I thought, you know what, I think I could do this. And that's when I decided I wanted to try some gourd ukuleles.
That was easier said than done, because at the time, Ron's woodworking experience was limited. His experience making instruments, even more so.
I've never built an instrument in my life.
No problem. There's got to be a how-to you can follow, right?
There's no guides how to build a gourd ukulele. Everything I had to figure out on my own.
Step one seemed obvious enough. Source the raw materials.
And so I looked around and kind of had an idea of what I wanted to use, and I bought 3 gourds, and that's where I started.
With the raw materials in hand, Ron moved on to step 2, cutting an imperfect gourd perfectly in half.
So I ended up using my laser line level and was able to get a perfect line, turn it around, and that's how I cut them now in half. Scrape them clean, and then I had to figure out how to attach all the things that needed to be on it.
Things like the bridge, fingerboard, and neck, all of which he outsourced.
I guess I could carve a neck for each one, but I don't want to. I just want to, spend my time on the body of the ukulele, the top, and getting it put together.
Which, for Ron, means embracing some imperfections.
The back of the gourds have discoloration, there's warts. That's part of the gourd. But you want your playing part of it to be as perfect as you can get it. One of the biggest challenges of building a gourd ukulele is getting everything from the neck to line up perfectly straight. When you build your top, you take 2 pieces of wood, you cut them, and you lay them open so there's a line right down the middle. I'm getting better at that. That's the hardest thing, really.
As for tops, that's an area where Ron likes to experiment.
I've used many different kinds of top materials, and I don't know that anyone's better than the other. Actually, the one I'm working on here is curly maple, and it actually was a cutting board that I found at a thrift store. And so I also have made them out of a cutting board of bamboo that was put together in the shape of like a herringbone. I call it a herringbone bamboo. And actually it sounds pretty good. I wasn't sure whether the pieces would stay together when I made the top, but they have. That's how you learn. Like Thomas Edison, I don't know how many light bulbs he did, but I failed a few times with those ukuleles. So for the most part, each time I build one, I feel like there's some little area that I feel like I improved on.
And that desire for improvement and spirit of experimentation extends to the body of the instrument itself, where Ron's considering some rather surprising alternatives.
The man that does the pest control at my house got me a turtle shell from a snapping turtle, and it's just a shade bigger than the body of an ukulele. So I'm preparing that to use. I'm not sure how that's going to come out, but I just think it's interesting to find different things to make an ukulele out of.
And Ron's found customers who seem to agree. At arts fairs, music festivals, and shops like Weed Patch Music Company in Nashville, Indiana.
I think a lot of people don't know that you can make an instrument out of a gourd. Though they've been around for thousands of years, that's still a pretty new concept. And the ukulele is such an accessible instrument for people. It's a relatively easy instrument to learn to play. So a lot of folks come in and they see these ukuleles, and from afar, oh, it's a ukulele. It kind of looks shaped like a regular ukulele. And then you get up close and you realize this is a really unique instrument.
But for Ron, it's less about sales and more about staying active and feeding his own natural curiosity.
As we retire and get older, we need to keep our minds engaged. I'll lay in bed and think about something on an ukulele, and I'll think, oh, I think that'll work. And then I'll try it out the next day. That's the exciting part for me.